process in which we would have a chance to say, we really still don't want to pay for this because we don't want it to come out of our taxes?
The approval process, the way it's designed is you submit a proposal.
Right.
And then the county decides whether it wants to go forward with that proposal, which just simply means I'm going to continue to negotiate with you. And that's where we are. They did do the needs-based study, and I think some of us were at the Public Works meeting, and with 33 bathrooms. There's there's just the beginning of it.
Well, that was a ridiculous
And as I understood,
exercise anyway.
in defense of that, it was explained to me that if you go to every department and ask them what do they want, well, one of the things they'd like to know is that there's going to be a bathroom. So they all get tallied up. And of course, that's not going to happen. I mean, the building has floors and there's core bathrooms on each floor. And guess what? Your department got a bathroom, yours did too, and so did yours. They're all on the same floor. That process, if the county wants to do it, will occur. And a lot of this thing will get narrowed down to what exactly is needed in terms of square footage, what kind of fit out. And the interesting part about it is what John was talking about is what cost savings do we have by putting all these folks together as opposed to having a separate school board building and a county building or other agencies renting space all over Winchester and that kind of thing. And do we save from that? We think you do. But again, it's not our project. It's up to the county to decide those things. But we do see some very real benefit in doing that and some significant savings. I think you're going to streamline the number of folks that work for government. And just silly things like we've got a meeting room.
And in fact, you're still not getting to my question, which is when do we get to the approval process? We understand that all this negotiation has to go on, but under the guidelines for the PPEA, there comes a point in time where there is a decision that the Board of Supervisors says, yes, we want to go forward with this, and I know they have to have at least one public hearing. But I would ask them at that point, what is the process?
Where it is now is it's up to the county. I mean, we are going forward with a rezoning. If you will, we got this area, this 10-acre area that's put reserved on it and it's carved out, and it's up to them. Now, as we go forward with the rezoning, if it's asked, will you keep it out there for a while? It really depends on what a while is. I mean, if we're going to...
If it's a free piece of property,
Well,
just
let's talk
title it over to the county and we'll use it when we need it.
Well, one concern will be about that is we don't want to have a strip of land that just sits there for 10, 15 years. Who's taking
Why not?
care
That
of
land
it?
has sat over there for as long as I've been in this area.
Well,
because of the other things we're going to start doing.
Well, fine, go ahead and do them. I'd love to see you develop it. I'm all for development.
The county doesn't manage
Build
property
a bigger
very
tax
well.
base, then they can pay
They
for
actually
it.
don't. They buy property and they let it sit for a long time.
Like I
Yeah.
said, we were really next to doing this begin with.
I'm saying, do the rezoning, go ahead with all your projects. Just leave that spot of land
Just
for the
speak up,
county.
Jody.
We just don't need it right now.
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I got a question with this plan here and the bridge y'all talking about. Is this bridge really set up by you guys to actually make a commercial profit over there after the building's built with the bridge?
Is that tied in with the PPEA?
Yeah.
Does that have to go?
no.
I was just wondering that question because that would be so convenient to put a bridge there and suddenly all the retail comes in.
Yeah.
No, it's,
I mean, you got 10 acres, you got 140 acres there to build on.
if
Who's going to ching on that?
it's a huge ka-ching, and it's being
Yeah.
paid by the property owner.
That's good.
Development, if it would not be one.
But
Okay.
the bottom line is this project came with certain requirements. We all inherited this, if you will. It all started back when Mr. Quinley had this proposal, and it included this road network and with this bridge. It's been modified a little bit by VDOT, but you all need to understand, VDOT dictates where those roads go, how they're aligned, They love these circles, roundabouts.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And none of those were our ideas. If you want to know the truth, what I think,
Like a demolition.
that road and bridge, I think probably right away after it's built, the first beneficiary is the city of Winchester. Because what it does is it allows for a flow of traffic from Frederick County and across Frederick County where? To land that is ready right now to be developed. To go to Olive Garden, to go to Panera, to go to the Walmart over there, and so on. But no, that's not anything we asked for. That's something that we took the property subject to. And as the property zoned right now, y'all need to understand, nothing can be built on this property until all of those roads have been installed, all the sewer, water, and other infrastructure has been installed. That's the status of the property right now. And I can assure you, never's a long time, but the property won't be built in its current status and current rezoning for forever.
Gretchen, you have a question? Well, just to piggyback on Margaret's question about when this population, the taxpayers, have their say before a decision is made by Frederick County leadership, public leadership. As I just understand from news stories, that's the only source I have. The board of the county has said that they're not going forward right now because another entity within the county is going to work on it. Maybe Mr. Lawson can give us more specifics on Margaret's question. Gary, do you want to join in? This is Gary Lawson.
Gary's had to come here to join in.
Board of Supervisors.
At this point, as Mr. Lawson has stated, the project is kind of on hold. The county has not decided to move forward for this for a number of reasons, some of which I can't share. But we're not sure, as Mr. Lawson said, we're not sure that this is the proper place, this is the proper time. We've done our needs assessment. The needs assessment bear out the fact that the county in 10 years, 15 years, and the school board administration 10, 15 years would basically fill this building. And you have to understand that needs assessment came back in that didn't show a lot more growth in the county administration. One more thing I would point out that is tied to this is the fact we're talking about school administration. When this was first proposed, we reached out to the school board to see if they'd be interested in partnering with us should we go forward with this building, because we knew that the county administration never filled a 150,000 square foot building. The school board administration has on their capital improvements project list right now an addition to and renovation of the current school administration building. That project is listed at about $14 to $15 million, and that's just for the schools. So as you can see, it actually would make sense, instead of spending $15 million to renovate an old building, which in my estimation is in a bad location, that it could make sense to combine the two. As Mr. Lawson has stated, there are other departments that are out here and out here that could be combined in one location. So it does make sense from a logistics aspect. But we have not gone forward with it because we just want to think about it more. We want to get more input. There are other tentacles out there that touch other things that we need to get the information on, get the answers to before we're going to move forward. We're in no hurry to do this at all.
Can I just, well, go ahead, Alan, and then you next, Alan.
I've got a question, and then I've got a follow-up statement after the question. We've been told that the land is a gift, but then we're told that the land has strings attached. We have to build a building, or we have to take action in a certain amount of time. That's not a gift. That's a bait. Okay? We were going to have to take some kind of action to build a building that we're not going to need for at least 10 years, according to Mr. Walton, probably longer. the efficiencies, you will not have one human resources department for the schools and the county, because the school system and the county system are dramatically different in how they handle their personnel. So there will be a school human resources, there will be a county human resources, regardless of whether they're in the one building or sitting in the same room or sitting on each other's laps. Certain things you can gloss over. I mean, we got a sponge with cake icing on it, and we're being told this is a wonderful cake, let's eat it. And that's not where we're going. So is this land a gift, or does this land have attachments? And you don't have to go into any detail what the attachments are.
No. It is, as the PPEA states.
Well, nobody's seen it because it's all private.
Private, yeah, we can't read the PPEA.
I'm telling you.
We can't say anything. The Board of Supervisors can't say anything. The Winchester Star can't print anything. But yet we're supposed to be making a decision.
Right. And what I'm telling you is, it is a proposal to put on the Russell 150 on 10 acres of land, which is free. There is no cost for the 10 acres of
Same
land.
cost, I said attachment.
No. I'm saying it's no cost. You said gift. What I'm saying, and I think what John said is it is free. It is a gift.
But you said we couldn't sit on it and wait. We had to do something.
Right, because it is a proposal that is part of a rezoning that says if you all are inclined, if the county is inclined, here it is. And what I didn't finish is, and I've seen this on other projects where you do proffer, for example, land for parks or a school or what have you. It always has a hook to it, if you will, because if the county doesn't build on it, it just sits. And those things tend to grow abandoned refrigerators and things like that. And you say, who's going to maintain this thing? And the problem is, we're going forward with the rezoning with office and apartments and shops and things like that. And yeah, if the county office building wants to go there, only if they want to go there, it'll fit in very nicely. But if they don't, and that's okay, another office building will go there, and the private sector will move in, and so on. And frankly, I think that's far preferable than just a 10-acre triangle or rectangle that somebody's bush hogging periodically. So all we're doing is we're honoring that proposal. Candidly, as we go forward with the rezoning, we're really excited about it. Private sector, we think there's a real opportunity here. These two gentlemen are putting their money where their mouth is. They're willing to step in and fund this thing. And they think it will be an attractive place that more than pays its fair share. It actually pays money into the county coffers. And it's good all around. So there's no upside to just leaving a 10-acre tract. And what is that thing over there? It's just, we view it as an opportunity. And the last piece, if you listen to what John said, and I'm a taxpayer, and I don't get benefits. My kids don't go to schools here, and so on. I'm one of those givers as opposed to a taker. So I'm concerned about my tax dollars as much or as more as you. I think if we're thinking about building this building, and that's the analysis that Mr. Lawson is talking about, if we believe we're growing, and yeah, government's going to have to grow a little bit too to accommodate our needs and all that. And if we think we're going to build this thing in 10 years, listen to what John said. With the extra interest, you will have paid for this building more than twice. So that's the point.
About 10 years, we may be having to pay in yen or something because the United States will be growing. The follow-up statement I want to
Gold, maybe. They tell you gold is
No,
where
gold
you
not
want
any good.
No, they're good. Shotgun shell.
The follow-up statement I wanted to make is, we've been told something, we've been told only a small part of something. The four gentlemen that came here tonight to make this presentation all stand to profit greatly. They're taking some risk, but they're going to walk away from this deal with pockets full of money. Everybody else in this room is going to be emptying their pockets to make this work. You wouldn't be giving us this land from the county office building unless you needed something there to anchor it and jumpstart this thing that is pretty much dead. Otherwise, you'd be building on it now instead of begging the county to start the whole thing for us.
As it stands.
We're gonna get beat up. What's the proposals, 4 proposals for the budget next year? No tax increase, or 3 other levels of tax increase?
Right here.
Without this
Right here
building.
in the paper this morning.
Without this building. So let's put another $40 to $80 million, JP said it wasn't 80, but 40 plus, on top of that, plus debt costs, so that 3 cents on 100 is going to be 12 cents on 100. So, yeah, you may be paying taxes, but you are also profiting from the process.
No.
You get to pay the salary, I'm imagining you're here gratis.
So, just, let me share a little bit. We came across this piece of property, Bruce and I did, last summer. And actually, kind of by accident, to be honest. And we started looking into it, and we looked at the history and all the mess you were referring to. What happened on this property is inexcusable on many fronts. The individuals involved and a lot of good people got hurt. I will tell you, MMA, who we just met last summer, the owners of the property, one of the reasons why we started to think about getting involved is because what you heard or haven't heard, they actually did some honorable stuff. They did. They paid contractors that they did not have to pay here in the county. They could have legally not paid. The board of supervisors kind of asked them, do the right thing here a little bit. And so they did. Now, again, we're not part of MMA at all. That's who we're buying the property from. So I have no stake in the game with MMA. But it's just so you know that. So as we started looking at this property, what's on that yellow or that white sheet in the middle was, 7 or 8 years ago, again, way before any of us. And it just doesn't work the way it is. And we started looking at it and said, well, is there some things that could be changed where maybe it does make sense for somebody? And believe me, I wish there was no CDA at all, because that just adds to our risk, to be honest. It complicates it. It's a mess. But so we started looking at it and said, what scenario could make sense? And that's a lot of time and money and working with VDOT, and I'm like you. I hate to trend it out. These guys will tell you. We sat down with VDOT in the county, and we're talking about the roundabouts, and I'm an anti-roundabout guy. I don't know if anybody else is too, but I call them death circle. It's ridiculous. But so what you see up there, like Ty said, what Mr. Lawson said, what you see up there is dictated by VDOT, not us. It's ironic. We're going to pay for it, yet we have no say in it. So I hear you on a lot of things that you're saying tonight in terms of some of the process here, but that's just reality. So we came up with a scenario in our minds that we are gambling that at some point, this is a 5 to 10 year project. We're basically taking over a $6 million obligation with the CDA, and we're committing to pay for the roads, which is, depending on who you ask on what day, 4 or 5, another $6 million. Something like that. So at some point, will we make money? We sure better. And I wasn't kidding. My wife asked me all the time, do you guys really know what you're doing out there? Because we're taking on a huge amount of risk. And I do hope we make money. I hope I make a lot of money, to be honest. I can't guarantee I will, though, but we're going to give it a shot. The only scenario that we could come up with that could possibly make sense to where we, quite frankly, can make money is kind of what you're seeing up here now with what we're rezoning. This just doesn't work. How it got approved and what happened to the money and all that stuff, that's all, it doesn't matter anymore. It kind of is what it is. So we have come in and taken, and with a lot of other people's help, we're from lawyers to engineers, Greenway Engineering, Pannoni Engineering, so it's all neighbors, who are paying to help us, have come up with something different. And this is what we're submitting, to say, hey, we think this can work. Under this scenario, we'll take the risk of paying for the roads and the CDA. We could get denied. That's very possible. We're simply proposing. The 10 acres for the potential county building, that was, again, a legacy item. And quite frankly, I'd rather sell the ground for money. Come on, it's more profitable. But in looking to figure out how does everybody come to something that can maybe agree to. We said, okay, well, we'll continue to honor that 10-acre gift, free, whatever it is. The thing that would bother me though is if we give it, that it can't detract from what we're trying to do out here, because it will hurt our value. It'll hurt our ability to try to not only first get all the money back we're spending, then actually make money. So that's why, whether it's 2 years or 5, there's got to be some scenario where if nothing's going to happen with it, we've got to figure out how that affects us.
I'm going to go with Irene first and then Joe. Irene?
From what I've read in the newspaper, the PPEA process itself says that both parties can agree to release all the information about the project. It just is a matter of both parties saying, yeah, okay. So tell me why the board of supervisors and the LLC don't just say, okay, let's put this out and let the citizens see what we're talking about in all the details. There's no competing proposal. If there were, then it might make sense to me to have some secrecy. But since there's only one proposal and one LLC, why is it still a secret? And, Mr. Lawson said, I can't say, I can't talk. So why is that?
Well, I can tell you part of it is because, frankly, not much has occurred with it. I don't know what good it would do to disclose what this thing is. We know generally that it's a consolidated government building that we're building for the future. We know what John said, that interest rates are low, construction costs are low, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper to do it if we're going to do it now as opposed to 10 years from now, golly, even 5 years from now. But the details.
We don't really know that.
You don't know any more about the future than I do.
Well, no.
So you don't.
Well, yes and no. We all got to believe